The economy is still looking bad. That is not a surprise. What's going on in the news? The Bill of the Rights of the Workers is being drafted. The Grand National Assembly of Sordland will vote on a bill on Thursday to protect workers' rights in Sordland that supporters are calling the most ambitious pro-labor legislation in decades, and one which the USP representative has dismissed as the worst bill in the Assembly. The Worker Protection Act has strong support from both the PFJP and the NFP, as well as labor leaders. The bill was a result of a bipartisan effort from the leading figures of the PFJP, as well as the Minister of Health, led by Pascal Benewol. It has been proposed to the Assembly by Representative Albin Clavin for the USP. The Workers' Protection Act amends the Labor Act by establishing a minimum wage of 2.5 SR per hour and adding guidelines for overtime work, as well as safety and protection guidelines. It also extends the rights of the workers to all migrants, acknowledging their rights as workers in Sordland. The bill also made it illegal for corporations to force workers to do unpaid overtime work. Companies who fail to abide by these rules established with the bill will be heavily fined by the government and may be forced to face legal action. Some estimates suggest the cost to these firms would increase by 50% if they had to treat workers according to proposed laws. Despite the bill coming from the governing USP, it faces a huge opposition from within the party. However, with the support of the PFJP and the NFP, the bill has a high chance of passing the Assembly. President meets with Business Council. Our sources have reported yesterday, President Rayne had a meeting with the Business Council behind closed doors in Lockhaven, which later continued with a dinner in a 5-star Asteria restaurant with leading figures of the council. The agenda of the meeting has not been disclosed, and the contents of the meeting remain a secret. But it can be expected that President Rayne has discussed the future economic plans of his administration, as well as listening to the concerns of leading industry figures. The outcome of the meeting will hopefully arrive quickly, with positive developments and more transparency compared to today. Okay. Mine disaster, 112 dead. We just opened the coal mine yesterday, and they've already collapsed it? That's crazy. That's like, I didn't know Moorbell was Gorman. The whole thing just collapsed in on itself. There's a little Andor joke between me and you. Disaster hit Moorbell last night when one of the main support shafts of the Moorbell coal mine collapsed, trapping many coal workers inside. The collapsed structures also started as an underground fire turned the sky black with ash and sorrow in Moorbell today. As reported by the government, the current death toll sits at 112 dead, with many other miners still trapped inside. The rescue operations are continuing without any sleep. Investigators are being told that this might have happened due to the neglect of the Nedam mining group. Families of miners and the people of Moorbell showed up in protest at the site of the disaster. Coincidentally, the workers' right bill that was being drafted in the Assembly for the past few months comes too late. The eyes of Sordland are now turned to President Rayne to see the decision on the bill. Hundreds of women organized by the Swordish League of Women marched and called for gender equality in the country. The group held signs highlighting the issues of domestic violence, the wage gap, maternity leave, and the sexist attitudes in the education system. Police forces quickly created a security cordon to protect the march after a large group of religious counter-protesters arrived. The calls for equality were drowned by the loud group of conservatives. The protests were a clear reflection of the vision that surrounds the country. It also raises questions that the First Lady Monica Rayne's agenda to raise awareness and trigger change in the issue will bear fruit. Okay. What's going on in Rebel? School poisoning connected to bloodish woman. Dilma Asir, who was working in the school kitchen, was apprehended with connection to last week's school cafeteria poisoning in Rebel. The act was found to be politically motivated by the perpetrators. They are connected to the banned British Freedom Party. Asir is suspected of being an active member of the British Freedom Front since the start of the year. She has also been sentenced to 60 years in prison. What's going on in Avery? Car bomb. A car parked in the Agno-Swordish-dominated neighborhood in the outskirts of Avery has exploded. Avery police report that there is no casualties or injuries. The initial bomb investigation found that the car was rigged with a time bomb. No perpetrators have been found in connection to the incident so far. Further investigations are ongoing, and details have not been shared with the public. Okay. What else do we have? Do not go to the world stage. We hate the world stage. Preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion. Nearly half a year has passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Great to see you all. Hello, Mr. President. Tyler, Peter Vectron, Gus Manager, and David Whiskey won't be attending this meeting. They are working on the upcoming trade agreement with Wayland and Agnolia. Is it because you couldn't fit more characters on the screen? Like there's like some sort of limit? May the Lord be with them. Sierra gave a barely disguised eye roll. Before we begin, is nobody going to mention the ban on the Red Youth and the Young Swords? However much of their political aims might differ from their administrations, surely must agree that their freedom of expression must be protected at all cost. Miss Morgana, is right. Sierra, what were you? You're the Minister of Education. Okay, just had to remember, just had to remind myself. I align myself far closer to the Red Youth's politics than the Young Swords, but I believe that both. She broke off as she noticed that Lucy and Simon and Yosef were looking at her and Nia in stony silence. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea. Yeah, ladies! Shut up! It's a man's world, okay? Ladies, let's leave the... Yes. Sierra shot a pleading look at Linnaeus, who merely pursed her lips disapprovingly. If you have any problems with the ban, call a separate meeting with me. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around, and all eyes turned on the Minister of Economy. Okay, let's begin, Mr. Hull. Gladly. Today's a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set out in the government. While maintaining enough political support, it may be, if I may add, promises were made during the election. There are three options regarding the budgeting for the four main branches of the government. It's either we increase, we maintain, or decrease the funding. Yes, those are literally the only three options that you could possibly have. Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change, and increasing will cause a loss of efficiency in that branch. Problem isn't how the amount of money that we spend, but it's how efficiently that we spend it. Can we get Walter Tuscan here to start like a new department, a department of like I don't know, some sort of efficiency department? Okay. It's true that many of our policies could be better implemented, and our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed, for instance. We have to be careful as to what we fund so that we have the resource remaining for other investment projects. Okay. We also got to be true to our electoral promises. Our people voted for us because of our promises that we made. As much as we realistically can. If we fail at improving our economy, the promises won't mean much in the big picture. Before we begin our discussion, there's one more thing that I want to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we can go into debt to invest in different branches. However, under the circumstances, it would be far worse than the economic crisis if we push it too far. It's difficult for us to raise debt with the current unhealthy economy. We could increase the amounts of debt that we take as the economy improves. We don't want to have a crash. That's fair. Okay, let's try to avoid a crash. Measures of austerity have shown difficulties in appeasing voter groups. Given the current state of the country, improving economic situation is a political priority right now. More so than ever if we want to win the 58th election. This budget would also be applicable to our entire term. So it's very critical that we plan it correctly. Let us begin then. What should we discuss first? Okay, let's talk healthcare. Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our health services is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think that we should receive more funding to address this disparity. I agree. I recently begun an investigation into healthcare in Arbel, and its numbers are not good. If you don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to be able to maintain it. Otherwise, we're putting lives at risk. We have also started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Sordland. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in their current state, the death toll would be unimaginable. And I'm not even talking about damage to the economy. It's a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. Very worrying. On top of what Pascal said, we need to be remembering that we promised to focus on healthcare during our election campaign. That's only if a pandemic happens. What are the chances of that? Basically zero. Yes, let's follow through on our promise to the people. What about law enforcement? I would like to have an increase in the funding for law enforcement to increase the size of the police force and raise salaries. We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretched my units far too thin with the limited resources that I have. She clears her throat. Or Nia clears her throat. Law enforcement is currently a high priority. However, I feel like tackling internal corruption is of far higher importance than increasing our police presence. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit, which we could create if the funds were directed to me. I agree with Ms. Morgana. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for the ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason that our government is the reason for our government inefficiencies. It needs to be tackled. The police are here to serve and protect the people of Sordland, Ms. Wilda, and that is exactly what we are doing. More funding will allow us to take care of our police forces. It's quite simple, quite a simple choice, given the current status of the country. Yeah, let's focus on let's like get an anti-corruption in here. What about the military? What is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions. Rumberg is coming whether we like it or not. If not next this year, then next. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have a shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty. If Rumberg doesn't make a move against Sordland in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Joseph Lencia. Joseph is beginning to lose control of the volume of his voice. There could be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there's an enemy on our doorstep, waiting for us to make one wrong move. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. Mr. Lencia? Right, pardon my theatrics, sir, but it's a serious matter. The future of our country is up to you, Mr. President. Well, here's an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined to our people while stoking fears about an upcoming war. The issue with Rumberg can be solved diplomatically. What kind of message are we sending to them in the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up our military budget? That is, that we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walda. Exactly. Okay, we'll agree with Sierra. We need to be as diplomatic as possible. What about education? Our education system is lacking. Not only in funding, but also in modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasted on our youth. This is the reason why I advocate 2 things. An increase to the budget to improve access to education in rural areas, and a new education reform. To be honest, Sordland is lacking compared to Arcasia and United Katana when it comes to education levels. The backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. We need to ensure that a new generation is as well educated as their counterparts in more modern countries. Nonsense. Sordland is still here because of this very system that you insult. How can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principles of national identity and pride? We won't be compared to other countries. Sordland is Sordland. I agree with Laius, Sordland is Sordland. I will think about it. I made up my mind about the budget. We can proceed. Very good talking points from everybody. Well then, it's time to make a decision for the budget to come. Consider it with care, Mr. President. Someone placed a stack of papers on my table. I turn to the first page. You can distribute the budget between the 4 branches below. Increasing the budget will result in improvement to the branch that will also unlock new policy options. While maintaining may result in... Okay, I think that's all we already saw. Okay. Sordland's health system and healthcare quality have stagnated due to our administrative inefficiencies, increasing service demand, and an increased divide in services between urban and rural hospitals. The average life expectancy has dropped significantly, with issues such as maternity, death, and disease outbreaks. Well, we said we're going to increase health, so we got to do this one. Law and order. The recent culmination of political tension between the different youth groups and socioeconomic pressures between multiple classes of society is increasing the issues of law and enforcement systems. Police need to help keeping up with increased crime rates. Simultaneously, judges and courts deal with an enormous growing backlog of legal cases. I think here will maintain. The once praised public education system of the nation has suffered significant setbacks in the last decade. The lack of new schools, high student-teacher ratios, low salaries, and even a lack of classroom equipment in certain parts of the country caused massive divergences in the public education system. I think I'm going to try to invest in our future. So we're going to increase education here, and I think military will probably just. I think it's fine. The Sordland forces were the nation's most funded branch until Alfonso's government reduced the defense budget significantly. With an increase in saber-rattling threats looming from the north by Rumburg and a growing presence of the superpowers in the region, the critical deterrence of the SAF matters more than ever. I think we'll just maintain. We'll keep this at a negative. Hey, stable economy. We're gamers. And finish allocating the government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and the dismay of others. They and I knew that this would define a significant part of our term. We have a deficit on our hands. We will need to resort to debt to finance future investments. The situation can have adverse effects if we don't strike a balance. Agreed. Well then, let's start with law enforcement. Leia's leaned forward and put her hand on her chin, and Nia was looking down at the floor. I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. It's not the best situation for us. I'm not sure what we will be able to do if the budget doesn't change. Any statements on the matter, sir? Just no. I have no comment. I trust you. Oh wait, I accidentally pressed the button twice. I trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. Our efforts will be maintaining order with what we have. Here I was thinking that the Rayne administration would be on the side of law and justice. A tear for the Minister of Education. Sierra was eager to respond. An increase of funding is very welcome. We can finally go after some comprehensive improvements by building new schools and improving the education system. Surely a well-funded and larger Minister of Education will benefit everybody. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance. Again, like this is a future investment that we're kind of doing here. Yes. Your expertise and passion should enable you to make the necessary changes for improvements. We'll be able to achieve this grand goals with this new budget resource. Okay, military's neck. Sierra clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Yosef chimed in. It's a shame that the military won't be getting an increase. I will have to make sacrifices to maintain our defenses. Lucien seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down his notepad when Yosef eyed him. Okay, it's a correct call to make. The threats call for an increase. Yosef, just shut up, okay? Okay. Thank you, sir. The health budget increase will help me focus on improvements. Our people will now be safer than ever. I'm also planning to tackle issues like the lack of rural hospitals and the recent worrying numbers of maternal deaths. Welfare must remain a priority for our term. There's no other way around it. Okay, very important for us as we move forward. It'll improve drastically. It feels invigorating to have the weight of the government behind my cause. That covers all the branches. Each minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year. And thank you all for your time and participation in significant movements. The meeting is concluded. For those who don't like the decisions, don't take it personally. The ministers bid their farewells, some excitedly, others dejected. The cabinet slowly dispersed out of the White Room. The budget for our term was concluded. Why don't I just, like, print more money? Has anybody thought about that at all? Okay, new budget. After a marathon 18 hours of negotiations, the storage government budget for the current term has been finalized. The government envisions around a 27 billion SR next year, almost 16 billion more SR than this year. The 1954 budget sees a major increase in welfare funding. The Minister of Education and Minister of Health, the two of the smallest ministries in Sordland, will see their budget grow more than expected. This will also will especially improve the quality and accessibility of welfare services around the nation. Mrs. Waldia and Mr. Bendevol have expressed their gratitude for the increase in welfare budget, and they say this increase will help everybody in Sordland. So what's going on? Better budget, release welfare system. I mean, it seems good to me. It seems great, honestly. Okay. Lucien Galate has reported that so far they've been able to get 87 signatures behind the proposal. Okay. And I guess we can now continue. Chapter 2, A New Sordland. Are we only in chapter 2? I thought we just finished chapter 2. Or did we finish the prologue? Okay. So, let us look at stability. Look at this. We're mooning. We are going to be like so powerful very, very soon, okay? You just got to trust the plan. What's going on in the news these days? President Sol demonstrated unexpected warmth yesterday as he invited local fishermen into his Daru Island residence for afternoon tea. The casual gathering offered a rare glimpse into the private life of the typically reserved statesman. Witnesses described Sol's demeanor as remarkably down to earth as he served tea and exchanged in conversation with his unexpected guest. The informal meeting highlighted the close-knit nature of the Daru Island community, where even figures like the Colonel can make connections. He has largely stayed out of the spotlight since leaving office. The spontaneous display of hospitality suggests that he remains an influential presence in island life, albeit in a more personal capacity than during his years in power. And a 54-55 session ends. FC Geldesur claims the league title again. Well, congratulations to them. Valiant runners up, put a strong fight. 4 things. Okay, geopolitics is going crazy right now. Prime Minister Alaviez of Lesbia visits Palace, offering support and mid-tension with Rizia. In a show of solidarity, Prime Minister Alaviez of Lesbia visited the Grand Duchy of Palace and its leader, Axel Reinhardt, to reaffirm Lesbia's support in the face of mounting pressure from Rizia over the disputed gas fields. As part of the ATO alliance, Lesbia has offered assistance to Palace in resolving the ongoing gas field dispute and maintaining regional stability. During his visit, Prime Minister Alaviez proposed several measures to address the situation, including joint exploration and development of the disputed gas fields, establishing a neutral arbitration panel, and promoting economic cooperation among Mercopan nations to reduce reliance on the contested resources. He also pledged Lesbia's commitment to defending Palace's sovereignty and territorial integrity if the dispute were to escalate. This visit is a strong message to Rizia, warning them against further aggression actions and encouraging a diplomatic resolution to the dispute. However, it remains to be seen whether Rizia will accept these proposals and engage in dialogue with Palace and Lesbia to reach a peaceful settlement. Yeah, I will play the DLC. Probably like not right away, but at some point we'll definitely do the DLC because I've never played it. Okay, Vagdalon Navy, 4 Zagnolan drill ships retreat. Navy Chief Admiral Kurt Hexer on Tuesday said the Agnolan drilling ship was driven away from Vagdalon's exclusive economic zone in the Nurmenlander Sea recently, asserting that such activities will be dealt with swiftly and sternly. The ship entered the area without Vagdlandian Naval's prior permissions. This illegal occupation of Hegeland does not give Agnolia the right to claim the seas. Our stance has been that if you do anything in our region, you have to notify us or take our permission. The Navy chief said at the press conference without elaborating further on the incident. Since 1950, there has been a permanent presence of the Vagdlandian Navy in the Marcaean Sea region, mostly in the form of an anti-piracy force. Experts are concerned about Agnolian's increasing forays around Hegeland, which they believe may trigger a heavy response from Vagdland. I heard it's Dark Souls level of hard. The thing is, I am a true gamer, so I think I'll be fine. Yeah, Arcasia fires the M4 ICBM. Dwight Walker has announced the first ballistic Arcasian intercontinental ballistic missile test was conducted at a military site at the Nurum Atoll in the middle of Oceania. The fired missile, codenamed Missile 4, flew several thousands of kilometers towards the direction of United Katana for crashing down at the sea, close to the abandoned radioactive Rostov Island. Why is there just an abandoned radioactive island? The missile test indicates that Arcasia wants to send a message to United Katana about island bases in the middle of the Oceania, while displaying that the Arcasian military technology has advanced. Will Arcasia be able to catch up to United Katana in the face of growing contentious situations between the superpowers? Okay. Kyov, United Katana. United Katana. Is this the name of the city? No. It just has the name. Oh, no, because it's... Okay, I see. Never mind. I'm silly. Nakatana recently hosted a massive congress, bringing together representatives from all states to address the State of the Union and discuss a significant political discussions concerning the concept of permanent revolution. The Congress, held in the Federation's capital, featured a unique traditions of customs of various states, including Catania, Kyiv, Kadu, Zoliek, Azjul, Yerzetin, Slavaria, Chim-al-Tiango, and Quinolta. Participants expressed pride in their heritage while demonstrating a strong sense of unity under the governance of the Communist Party, led by Chairman Leon Malyev Chavanchanga Kunyo. Okay, butcher that. During the Congress, Chairman Malyev proposed the Revolutionary Destiny Doctrine, policy aimed at promoting the idea of permanent revolution and supporting social revolutions in nearby states with early-stage capitalism. Senators from each state participated in a vote to determine the future course of the nation, ultimately passing the doctrine and signifying a new era of international involvement from United Katana. So apparently they've gone like a little like Trotskyist there. Military equipment is outdated. General Staff has performed an analysis on our borders to assess our military defense capabilities against a potential Rumberg attack. The results show that our military equipment is outdated and needs replacement as soon as possible. The continuation of the worrying reports show that in an event of an attack, our border will be broken through easily. I mean, that's not great, I would say. Narbel. Sierra Walda reports that the current education institutions in the rural regions of Sordland have been largely neglected. As part of our analysis, the literacy rate in Sordland currently stands at 80%, while rural regions like Narbel has a literacy rate of only 64%. The lack of schools per capita also reflects these results. Okay, what's going on in the south? Bergie and Special Zone Security have reported the discovery of a large-scale religious network of BAFF that encompasses all cities in Bergia, under the guise of state-sanctioned priesthood. The BFF has recruited hundreds or possibly thousands of Golkondist worshippers to join the militant group and converted hundreds of Nurti worshippers to the sect of Golkondism. It doesn't arrest been made, but since most police officers don't speak Bloodish, it'll be difficult to find the actual ringleader, priest of the network. Many requests have been made to ban Bloodish as a language from sanctuaries. Governor Braun has also requested Golkondism to be banned as a religion. What's going on over here? Central Bank releases strong budget deficit warning. The Central Bank of Sordland issued a damning warning regarding the extensive government budget deficit that has occurred in the first year of the administration. The potential consequences for irresponsible economic management were highlighted. Edith Agnew relayed that large deficit could have direct consequences on the strength of the currency and could hamper the potential of a still-to-recover economy. Okay, what's going on over... I want to... Please let me scroll. What's going on in Benfi? We received reports about the capacity of Benfi Regional Airport. The mayor of Benfi is preparing to put a request forward for an investment to build an international airport in the city. For tourist regions like Benfi, he claims it will increase the overall prosperity of Sordland. I mean, I would hope so, right? Like, I mean, how much is it going to cost, right? It's going to be expensive. Okay, what's going on the global stage? We got stuff going on from Agnola. Agnola has started a new oil drilling operation very close to disputed territory of Halishland. The tension increases when the situation turned into a standoff between Vagslanian and Agnolian warships. It took several hours for the gridlock to be resolved, and the situation was de-escalated for now. Okay. And in Morella, aliens. Security agencies in Morella have reported sightings of an unidentified object close to the Quinali border. The object was flying at a high altitude and at very high speeds. Currently, there's no clarity on what the object could be or its potential implications. Some intelligence officers indicate that it could be a sighting, could be a potential CSP low-orbit satellite. Morellian authorities are working with their Quinali counterparts to investigate the matter further. So Quinali is down here. What the hell is this? The Free Cities? Like this weird little strip of land? Okay.